Welcome to the How I Became Your Mother podcast. I am Kalila Black, your host, and this is a podcast where for the time being, single and childless woman, manifest my husband and future children, and you are along for the ride. It's a semi-memoiric, semi-manifestation. We're using the past present to shape and mold the future. And I'm just happy to be back. I took 2 weeks off, not because I wanted to, but because that was what bandwidth I had. And as you can see, it was actually 2 weeks in a day because this is coming out tomorrow. And tomorrow is Thursday, and I like my podcast to come out on Wednesday. Either way, I'm committed to this because this is something that matters to me and it's helping me get my thoughts out. It's helping me build my self concept and it's for my babies to come. So it's like a win, 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 win. Okay, so this is a beginning of kind of just a direct series to my baby. And I keep on referring to my child as a her, as if I know. So I don't know if we've reached another level of awareness or if I'm speaking too soon. But I the her keeps on popping out. Like I know I'm gonna have a boy too, but it feels like this is like for her. Um, and then he will learn later, and then he will get something specifically for him. So it feels kind of like that, but I digress. I digress. This is basically called Dear Child, the universe never told me no. And I wanted to talk about how there have been many moments in my life where I felt like my prayers were not being answered, where I felt like I was being picked on, where I felt like I was alone, where I felt like nobody knew what I was going through. And I didn't understand what I could have done to deserve it because I didn't feel like I was a bad person. And it felt like if I'm going through these things, that must mean that I'm a bad person. And I just wanted to share that it was backwards of me, and this is the way I was raised. This is the way we talk socially. Like it's about if you behave, then you get good things. If you misbehave, then you get bad things. Like that's kind of how we've put it in our brain. But I've learned that storms and difficult times are a part of life. There's always going to be a phase that happens where you're unsure and you're reaching for something more and you're in between that reaching for it and having it. And sometimes that in between is very, very rocky and uncomfortable and emotional. And so I, and when it happens, a lot of the time it's like, why are you telling me no? If I'm being obedient and holding up my end of the bargain, and you say that you answer prayers, you say I'm a master manifester, you say I have the power, why are you telling me no? And this episode is just about how I've learned that the universe actually never told me no. The universe, God, my ancestors, source, all of those things in my mind are one, firstly. Secondly, they never turned their back on me. They never left me. I was never abandoned. It was a part of the process. And in some situations, the process was that I needed to grow within the situation. I needed to learn how to manage things, which I feel like is what this year has been about. Me understanding how to remain balanced under a lot of pressure and to really exercise my faith. That's one lesson that is prevalent. But sometimes it's just because other things need to line up in order for it to work out for you. There's other components, a part of the desire, the dream, the goal that needs to line up for it to work out. So I that's been a very, very clear theme within the past my life. One of the first times that was very clear was early on in my career. I think I told this story kind of in one of my podcasts, but I'm just gonna share it again in case you ain't heard it. And it's a different spin on it. But basically, when I graduated on my birthday, I graduated college on my birthday, May 7th, 2011, which I think is insane to graduate school from one of the best, like my best school of on my birthday. On my birthday, we all graduated on my birthday. Like that's lit. Either way, graduated on my birthday, and then and chose not to apply for grad schools, chose to go professional. I'm like, I'm getting on Broadway. I'm gonna get a job. I'm going. Like, I don't want to do this school thing. I don't want to do the school thing because they were pushing that. And so from May to, I feel like I may have waited a week, but from May until like November was when I left for Singapore. I was auditioning, and I was mainly targeting this one gig. Like I was auditioning for others, for like multiple ones, but I wasn't putting all my heart into multiple ones. I had one target. And I think I had that target because I had seen someone else in my school do it. I was talking to the woman, and I knew it was just one gatekeeper that I had to enroll. And what was happening was she kept on asking me to resend videos, to send another video, like, and she said, I'm not gonna send you through to so basically this was an audition for a cover band in Singapore. And I had already known that one of the other Aggies from my school, North Carolina A&T, had already been hired by them and had a good time. I knew it was legit. And I also got this job through the head of the theater department, which was Miss Day, RIP. She got my first job overseas. And so I'm like, oh, it's legit. So the woman is asking me to audition. She's sending videos singing. In hindsight, my self tapes were outrageous, outrageously under professional, under like I completely understand why I was not getting hired earlier on. But at the same time, I was reconnecting with my cousin who was Manze, my like he's 10 months younger than me, my cousin, and we basically grew up feeling like siblings, Like we were raised very, very close in distance to each other, about 6, 7 minutes away drive, and close in behavior. But during college, with me going away, I went south and he went north. We reconnected in that summer after I graduated, and I come to find out like 3 months after in this audition process. And during this whole process, I'm like, oh my God, like, please, God, please. Like, I'm a failure. I feel like I went back to work at like Applebee's, I think. But I'm like, oh my God, I'm back at Applebee's. Like, I have a degree. This is crazy. Mind you, 3 months. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm crying. I am stressed out. I never forget this because I felt like my whole um college life was at risk. I'm like, you messed up and it was horrible and they don't want you. And I just remember being like, wow, you're a failure. Like, you're back in your mom's house. You went all the way to North Carolina to be back in Co-op City is crazy. That's crazy. I remember feeling like that. But in between time, while going to work, doing these auditions, doing this, getting new deadlines, working at Applebee's, playing, chilling with my cousin, come to find out another contract in the same job ends and it's a rapper. My cousin is a rapper. So we start talking together like, yo, that would be crazy if we was in Singapore together. Like, that would be crazy if we went out there together. And I'm like, nah, like, I'm gonna tell him like, yo, my cousin's a rapper. I got a rapper cousin. And she's like, what? Word? I mean, like, okay. By this time, I finally booked it. I booked it. And so my cousin, she's like, okay, sending a tape. By the time I booked it, I knew what kind of like instruction to tell my cousin. He gets it in 2 tapes. Bang, 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 bang. We arrive in Singapore within a week away from each other. We are overseas, living in a mansion in Singapore with a pool, amenities, a beautiful house, own room, own bathroom if you chose to, because it wasn't everybody didn't have their own bathroom, but we maneuvered and I wound up having my own bathroom. And it was so much fun. That was where I got my confidence back around singing because well, I wouldn't say back. I think that's when I solidified myself as a vocalist. That's when I solidified myself as a vocalist, singing 5 nights a week, um, for hours, for hours and hours. That's when I was like, oh, okay, you could do this. It's not just church. You could do this, and it's not just in a show because in my college shows, you would have a run and you do maybe 3 weekends. It's not just for that. It's like you could just keep doing this for mad long. That's when I first learned that. But that whole time period where I was not getting cast, but she kept saying, no, no, try again. And I'm like, I don't have any more time, lady. Let me over there. Let me come over there. I'm like, why are you telling me no? And it's like, no, your cousin needed to come over there with you. Because had I booked it when I first got out of school, I would not have had all of that time to reconnect with my cousin and then that other contract of the rapper would not have opened up. So he wouldn't have been over there. We were supposed to go over there together. We were supposed to. So I'm rejecting the idea that things have to work out on my terms and with my vision. It's like, I know the cliche where it's like, you make plans and God laughs. And it's like, I don't fully believe that in the way that God isn't in alignment with our vision. I just think that the unfolding of our prayers is not always going to unfold in the way we see it, because there's so many other components that we can't see that could better line up in order to fully fulfill our desires. So I'm rejecting this linear uh mode of manifesting and of dreams coming into fruition, because it doesn't work like that. It's like the other thing that I'm rejecting is the tension. And I just said this the other day to Twin, to your auntie, that one of the lessons as I'm 37 is that I've been learning is like, okay, things really do be working out. Like stuff really works out for me. So this tension that I have, the stress, the worry around things not working out, I'm looking to release. So I'm rejecting that. I'm rejecting that, the idea that when things don't seem aligned, immediately aligned with the first step, that things are washed. I'm rejecting that. What I am keeping is the surrender. I'm also keeping the joy. I'm also keeping the authenticity of my emotions. Because, yes, sometimes it's going to hurt my feelings. Her telling me every time I sent in the tape that it wasn't up to par when I thought I was eating the girls up hurt. It hurt. Seeing my friends enroll into their new schools, you know, nice and great in their new grad school programs, with me still in Co-op City at Applebee's. I was hurting. I was sad. Now I understand that was like 4 months. Wait, let me see. June, July, August, September, October, November. 6 months. 6 months. And it felt like the end of the world. The end of the world. So I'm also keeping faith. I'm keeping the knowing that things are working out. Things are working out. This past month or so, when I haven't been recording, I watched this sermon around this pastor who is visiting my mom's church, and it was called Lessons from the Storm. And one of the things that stuck with me that I think I needed to hear, because what also happens in my brain when things don't unfold initially, and I always think that I'm doing it wrong, or that I was disobedient, or that it was my fault. And the pastor illustrated a wonderful section in the Bible where the disciples were on the boat with Jesus, and there was a storm, and the storm was so bad that the boat was flooding and it was just moving in and out, and they were terrified, and they looked at Jesus and was like, "You not about to, like, yeah, you're not about to say nothing as we're dying, like as we're about to die, like what's going on?" And he's like, and Jesus looked at them like, "Y'all don't have, where's y'all faith? Like, y'all nervous? Where's y'all faith?" And then he talked to the storm like, "Chill," and then the storm chilled. And everybody and the people on the boat was like, "Oh my goodness. Like, wow. Like, I know we was rocking with him before because he was a disciple and we heard all of the things, but everybody on that boat hadn't seen him command weather before. They hadn't seen him command the Bible. They might have heard the stories, they might have felt it, they might have been like, "Oh, okay, yeah, he's eating the girls up," but they didn't see him, you know, do what he did. So it also felt like the storm was a magnifying glass of the power of Jesus. And in the same token as the storms that I'm going through when things don't go my way or when you feel like you're being told no is because once we get out of those storms, when I came on the other side, I was like, we were in Singapore with my cousin. I feel like we laughed for hours. My aunt was like, "How did you get your cousin over there with you? How? How? How?" And it was nothing but God. That was God. That was God. And that was like, wow, like, and that's been the lesson is like, yo, we need to go through these things to be able to see how it not only to grow, because I grew in that time. I never my tapes also grew. My tapes when I was submitting them to her, they grew and they improved. So I also improved through my storm. And then I had a magnifying glass on how loose and how, you know, on time God is. Cause how you so on time to send my cousin over there? That's insane. That's insane. That's not insane. So now I know God doesn't say no. God says, just bear with me, follow me, and have faith. Every time I thought something wasn't working out and I had patience and I kept the vision of what I was promised, it turned out better than I could have imagined. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a Fendi, as we used to say when we were in the Bronx in the early 2000s. That was a Fendi fact. So, when things don't go your way, breathe. Don't doubt. Don't blame yourself. Don't be your own. Don't blame me. Cause that'd be next, right? We would have blamed the parents. We like, yo, you should have swagged me, bro. You left me out here like that? Like, come on, bro. That serious? Don't blame me. I want you to look up to God and say, okay, how you about to get me out of this? Cause this is crazy. Like, I just can't wait to see you work. Like, I can't wait to see what you have in store. Like, this is crazy. Crazy. I just want to say I'm also in a very grateful moment right now. I already have two opportunities. One to perform with as Nala for the Lion King again in another space. I love that. I love that for me. I love that I've had this job and that I get to be a Disney princess over and over and over again. I love it. Then I also get to go back and be Tizzy for Dr. Seuss in a crazy, mind blowing collaboration. So I just feel blessed. I feel very, very grateful. I feel very, very in tune. I feel very happy. So I wanted to share that before we move on to the soul question, which is the 36 questions to fall in love, because I want you to fall in love with me. Okay. What does friendship mean to me? Ooh, this is so intense for me. I'm so passionate about this. I'm going to keep it cute. My name means friend. Kalila. It means friend. It derives from Khalil and it means friend or beloved. And I think that my heart is the heart of a friend. Like whenever I think about um a close person to me, it's like that's my friend. Like that's my friend. Like I'm your friend. Are you my friend? Are you my best friend? Like are you my friend? Like it's I so friendship is very important to me. I think friends are the most um bravest of people to have in your life because it's like family, we didn't choose them. So we're connected to them by divine, divine. We're connected to them by genes. Maybe we chose them in other lives. We was like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. We're gonna be here, we're gonna be woven in blood. Okay, da 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 da. We're gonna have the same ancestors. Cool, 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 cool. But friends, you meet in the video game. If we're just gonna think about life as a video game, we meet them in the video game. And we're like, wanna be with me on on this video game, on this round? Wanna swag me with me? Like you wanna be outside with me? And then we learn about them. And then we grow emotions for them. And then they feel like our family, but they have no relation to us. I think that is so like brave. I think it's so brave to have friends and I love it. And I consider myself brave. I think that's why I have a lot of friends because it's like you're trusting these people who have no reason to care for you outside of choice. So I think friendship is important and I've don't ever remember not having mad friends. and if and even and it's like I have a big heart and it's a lot of hours in the day and there's a lot of wonderful people on the planet and I think the more friends you have, and I don't want to say this because everybody be saying, but I know that people say friendships and sometimes you don't think about genuine friendships. But when I'm talking about friends, I'm talking about genuine. But the more friends you have, genuine, loving, connected, vulnerable, reciprocal relationships that you have, the better person you are because you have so many more checks and balances around your personality because your friends are wind up being your mirrors. So you got mad mirrors around you, like so of course you're gonna be better because you got more people checking you. You have more eyes. So friendship is a way to be a better person. That's the bottomest of lines. That's what it means to me. Okay, this was a little mini episode. I'm happy to have done it, honey. I If you like this episode, DM me, text me, call me. Not yawning. Thought I was gonna get away from it. Guess what time it is, y'all? 11:16 p.m. bro. PM. I didn't even say I didn't even do the your father update. I didn't even update y'all on your father. Listen, any new dates? I had a lot of professions of love. This Libra season, we out of it now. We in the Scorpio season. But Libra season, yo. I had a man talk about how he had this dream about me. We haven't seen each other since 2019. I had another man you what did he do? Confess his love. Like I didn't even realize we were still feeling like this. Like somebody told me that they felt like we was going out and he was in my live on TikTok. I've been feeling a lot of love. A lot of love. And I'm very happy about it. Your father's finna pull up like you're And I'm about to be like, I knew you were coming to find me. That's what I'm gonna say to him. And I'm gonna grab his face and I'm gonna be like, yo, I felt you. I felt you. You was here. Okay. That was cool. All right. To you, my baby. Whenever you hear this, just know I was thinking of you. I was learning, growing, and preparing a world for you to thrive in. And I can't wait to see who you become. The rest of y'all, like, share, subscribe. Y'all know what it is. Review. Do what you're supposed to do for the podcast. Do what you're supposed to do. All right. Stop playing and do what you're supposed to do. Good night.